Hey everyone, it's Dustin with TechMD. I'm here at a new repair, doing mobile repair here in Salt Lake. We also do Davis County and Utah County. We do all over the place in Utah. So if you're in this area and you need this repair, we can take care of you for fairly cheap. Just look at our website, description in the link below. So iPhone 8, first ever for teardown and reconstruction to a new display. I did a teardown when it first came out, but here we go. I will be recording this in 1 second. Okay, so first start is we're going to remove the pentalobe screwdrivers, and I already turned off the iPhone 8 device here. Okay, and then we're going to warm up the front. I'm just going to get it hot to the touch. That way you'll be able to remove this adhesive very well without any issues here. I'm going to use the iFlexit tool. Get those on eBay pretty cheap. I'm going to just stop at the top right corner here. Get in between the housing and the glass. And it should just come up with ease. Just a little twist there. Run your tool down here, a little twist there. And run your tool all the way to the top up here. And we're going to open it up a little bit more. We're going to pull this way so we can get our tool in nice and easy and slice right here. Leave our tool in here. Take our sesame tool and just twist, and this should open up without any issues here. Okay? Now we're going to separate this first here so we can unplug the device. And they are Phillips. They are not Tri-Wing here on the iPhone 8. So this is a 00 screwdriver that you'll need to open up your iPhone 8. Make sure you keep these screws organized and separated from each other so that way you experience no issues putting your screws in the wrong direction. Just set that right next to our other screws. We already got one cable that popped up here. That's okay, it's not a big deal. And then we're going to disconnect the battery here, which is this one right here. Either a fingernail or a plastic tool will work. We're going to go ahead and disconnect the other cable to the LCD, and some more Phillips up here. It's a little bit different than the iPhone 7 where it has Phillips on the bottoms, or Phillips on the top and then the Tri-Wing on the bottom. Going to remagnetize my screwdriver here. These are quite handy. That way we can easily pull up these screws. And I just get my iFlex under here and just twist up. And that'll actually pop up that cable here. Looks like we got one more screw here. This is actually quite a bit different than the 8 Plus that I opened up. Let's set that right there. And we're gonna go ahead and remove this off the side. We're going to start unscrewing this and putting it into the new panel that I have right here. Why I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and check this part, make sure that everything is good. And these cables, these devices look remarkably close to the iPhone 7. You can barely tell the difference. Just looking at the differences right now, and I can't really tell.
What about that part there?
I'm going to move it. I'm just testing it right now. I'll test it here without anything plugged in. Set that aside here while removing all the screws. Customer's sitting here next to me watching. It's quite entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad I have you to do this.
Yeah, you can always check out our video on TechMD YouTube. It'll be up here in the next couple days, as soon as I get to uploading it. Just removing all the screws here and setting this off to the side. Let's get the home button removed. This is tri-point, or tri-winged, whatever you want to call it. Phone doesn't like to boot up without the home button, so we'll see if it'll boot up on the 8 without it or not. Okay, so we're going to warm this up a little bit just to soften up the home button. This actually helps me pull this apart. It's about the same that you could do with the iPhone 7. Not much different. You could do the same thing. Yeah, the phone looks like it doesn't want to boot up without that home button, so we're going to go ahead and turn it off here and plug in that home button real quick. Pesky Apple with their home button problems. This little thing feels a little bit thicker than the 7 actually. This home button. I like to notate weird things. Gotta kind of plug in the battery there. Okay. We'll leave that alone while that's booting up again. Start removing the rest of those screws here. Just keep them organized. And try to get every screw back where it belongs. Okay, the iPhone 8 is up. And we're going to test and make sure that that touch works perfectly. And as you notice, the phone, you can't even test the screen without the home button. Very irritating. Might be a problem if you buy aftermarket in the future. I don't recommend buying aftermarket, I only recommend buying Apple Original. Okay, so it looks like it's up and running, and we'll be transferring the remaining of the parts over to the new screen. Let that go ahead and turn off. And we got flying parts. Ear speaker decided to go flying off. All right. So there's 6 screws around the bracket, unlike the iPhone 7 Plus has 5 screws around. And so once again we got glue right here. We'll just warm it up lightly. Blast it for like 10 seconds there. It's enough. And should be easily able to separate and remove. Okay, now we're going to remove the front piece here. So it's nice and soft, so everything should pop up like normal without much of an issue. We can actually pick out our screen. So I finally noticed the one major difference on the iPhone 8 versus the 7 Plus. See the little brackets up here? Right here and right here? That is not on the actual iPhone 7. So that is one of the major differences. Besides that, I think it's pretty much the same phone. Okay, so we're going to pop that out. And go ahead and pop out this. Oh, looks like it's a double bracket, so that's another difference versus a single. Looks like there's an extra sensor there. That's interesting. And then we're going to put this away and save it to get refurbished. If you guys need to get an iPhone 8 or 8 Plus refurbished, let us know. and we can get you in touch with our refurbisher. Okay, so we're going to separate that. We're going to go ahead and put that bracket on. Looks like this piece is like half of missing, and that's on the 7. All right, so now we're going to stick this bracket back on. And it's about the same measurements as the last time. And you'll see here in a second. Let me get one screw on and make sure our cables look right. So whatever way you want to measure it, you can. I like to get a little bit more square here. And that will do it. Just make sure that this little box here is the exact way that you found it when putting it back in. If not, it's not going to sit in this actual hole correctly, and so this box has to be perfectly aligned or fairly close to being aligned properly. Good way to test it is to plug it in, and after you're done doing this right here, just putting the bracket together and seeing if it will fit in there without a little hump. I've been doing this for quite some time, so I'm pretty sure I don't need to do that, but it could save time, especially if you're new at doing phone repairs or this is your first phone you ever fixed. I would highly recommend making sure that hump is not there when you put your screen in. So what I'm doing is just pressing with my thumb here and giving it some pressure so that way the bracket on the outside can come together with this screw here. It's being a pain, but we got it. So just pushing it together will cause the bracket to sit right. Okay, now we're going to get the top or the bottom bracket on here. Not used to working upside down. Usually I work towards me here, but I'm doing this for the sake of the camera. Now the one screw that you can never strip on this phone is this screw right here. This is your home button. Not too tight, certainly, and when you're pulling it out, you just be extra careful to use a lot of force to get it out, so a lot of down force. If you strip it, you're pretty much done for, you're doomed. So don't do that, or you're gonna break your home button. These you can just clip off, so it's not a problem if that breaks. It does happen. We use wire cutters to get them off. It's happened a few times where I've stripped them. It's very irritating. But usually a good tri-point will fix that, and I use the iFixit Pro Toolkit tri-point, and I'm just fine with it. So here's that extra sensor. It looks like a light up sensor right here, and then you got your ambient and proximity sensor right here. This looks like a little notification light sensor. That's interesting. Did you notice a notification light on it?
Yeah, I do.
That's something new there. So iPhone 8 has a notification light. Okay, so we're gonna put the speaker back on here. Just line it up, punch that through all the hole. I know I did that quickly, so slow down the video if you need to. I don't have a lot of time to explain details on that. But hopefully you've already done an iPhone 7 before you crack open an iPhone 8. So all the technique here I'm using is just technique that I've learned throughout the years. Spend your time and you'll get faster like I am doing here. Having a magnetic screwdriver and having good technique will make you race right through these phones without an issue. I hold my screwdriver here to keep it nice and steady, because even my hands are not perfectly straight on. Okay, now that we got this together here, we can put the display on and go ahead and plug the other display cable on. One should be LCD and one should be touch digitizer, which is touchscreen, obviously. Just said that. Okay. Now, we don't want to put this bracket in yet, so we're going to do this bracket first.
And you can do this one first if you find that it's too hard to do last. And I am finding it a little hard. I'm going to go ahead and just unplug these cables here and then start with this bracket. Kind of have the phone a little crooked here getting this in, but it actually really helps you get it all together. These little weird things right here act like a sponge. So we got to line this up properly. Take our screw here, and it does not want to sit straight on my screw. Acts like an automatic screwdriver. Ooh, that's a fun one. There we go. Kind of have to play with that one. Yeah, both of these are all just very irritating screws. You don't want to sit on the edge of your screwdriver. Very dinky. Line it up. Oh, it jumped. Line it up. And try to get it in the hole. Ooh, these ones are fun ones. All right, one last one here. Hopefully my video editor is getting a zoom in on that. Okay, now we can plug in these cables here. Put that in there. So only tri-points were on the actual display itself, which is nice. Phillips are way nicer than tri-points. Okay, so one long one in the middle here. So I might have removed the display different than I should have done it. It looks like the display just sits literally straight in there. So let's try that. Yeah, there's no underclips like the other phones. And it literally, yeah, I was right, just sits straight in there. But I was wrong about the hump. I did not get it perfect. As you can see, this is what I'm talking about. So it's not going to actually sit in there flush because there's a hump that's not perfectly lined up. So I expect people and my technicians to do the same thing. If you look at it, you think you would be just perfect. But in reality, there's something slightly off. I'm trying to see what it would be here. I would assume it might go up a little bit. So it's on there pretty tight, so if that is the case, I'm going to remove one screw right here. I'm actually kind of glad this happened so I can show it how to do it on YouTube. So we remove that one screw there so we can actually adjust this here. Let's see, without putting that screw in, if that'll do it. And I'll fix the screw in a minute. It's gonna definitely need some adjustment, but it's really close. All the funs of cell phone repair. Okay. Just adjusting and trying again. Nope, that wasn't it either. Okay, I see the problem. It's way down. It needs to go much further up. So what we're going to do here is adjust it this way. We're going to have to actually remove a few others. So this is too low. When I put it down, I can see that it needs to move up a little bit. And this is the big problem that the other YouTubers don't show, is because it's already perfectly lined up when they remove stuff around. And for me, it's not, so I have to adjust it to the new display, which makes life very difficult here. So what we're going to do here is lift up this whole entire bracket. And what that's going to do is help move the cables up. There we go. Try that right there. Is that your phone ringing? Got interesting ringtone. It's mine?
Mm-hmm.
The bracket and where the screw goes does not want to stay on there. I'm fixing it right now. Looks like this screw is not behaving. Let's try another screw. Oh boy, this is definitely a fun screw. Fun bracket here. And getting it perfectly on the edge of the tip of your screwdriver is even more of a pain. I cannot believe that's not going in there anymore. It might be that that bracket is stripped. Finally. Holy moly. Talk about an aggravating screw here. Jeez. Okay, we'll see if it's high enough and then we'll put all the rest of the screws in. Yes, that was high enough. I was right. All right. This phone did turn on while I was doing that. Thank you. Boy, once it gets in there tight. Gotta do the other process. Okay. Now we can get the remaining of the screws in. This is gonna be a fun YouTube video. Okay. Nice and flush. Turning on. And we can get our long screws back in pentalobe. Alright guys, well this is it. iPhone 8, that was fun. Make sure you listen to my earlier advice and check to make sure your bracket is in perfect order, or you'll have to deal with what I just did, which is a big pain in the butt. But we got it working here, fully functioning. Make sure you check out the phone and make sure it's making a phone call and home button works and everything else. All right guys, well this is Dustin with TechMD. Thanks for watching.